So Stan Lee's died. Like, honestly, we kind of expected it to happen because he was 95 years old, but it came completely out of left field and it was really sad. Like, I didn't even find out until almost the end of the day. So I was just going about my day completely normal and then, oh man. For this video, I just wanted to sit down and have a genuine conversation on how much Stan Lee meant to me and how much of an impact he had on my life. I've got an entire YouTube channel based off Stan Lee and Spider-Man and Marvel Comics, so apparently he had a pretty big impact. In the meantime though, if you want to let me know in the comments below how Stan Lee has impacted your life, whether that be through Spider-Man or the Fantastic Four or the X-Men, let me know in the comments below because I would love to hear like other stories, because Stan Lee like impacted everybody. He has done something and his legacy, just let me know. But also I did do an Instagram post on the day that he passed away talking about how I met Stan Lee at Comic-Con and stuff like that. So if you want to go check that Instagram post out, the link is in the description. And yeah, follow me on Instagram for that. So Stan Lee had a huge impact on my life, and obviously mainly through Spider-Man and the Marvel Comics. It's like being a fan of Stan Lee and Spider-Man has indirectly influenced you to be a better person, and it's just so interesting like how that works. And that's honestly the best thing about Stan Lee, is that his characters created something to sort of strive for. Spider-Man had like the whole great power comes great responsibility. X-Men teaches that it's okay to be different even in a society that deems you abnormal. And the Fantastic Four teaches that even your family / team can have flaws, and that's okay. But coming up to the Avengers, this is sort of different for each person, I find. Like, I sort of take something away from the Avengers that maybe you guys might take different away from it. So on my end, I learned that no matter how strong, godlike, or intelligent you are, as long as you have the same goal, you can accomplish anything if you work together. My earliest memory of being introduced to Spider-Man and becoming a fan of Spider-Man was in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. I was born in 1996, so I was like around 3 or 4-ish, probably, or maybe even 2, when I started watching Spider-Man the 90s cartoon. And still, to this day, it is... Jesus Christ. Doorbell. So my flatmates have just had a food delivery and my flatmates aren't in, so I've actually got to put all their food away now. One sec. Okay, I'm back. Even to this day, the 90s Spider-Man cartoon is the best cartoon of Spider-Man in my opinion. Like, obviously you've got like the new animated series Spider-Man and you've got the Spectacular Spider-Man. The Spectacular Spider-Man is the only one that is up there with the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. So I feel so lucky to have actually experienced the 90s Spider-Man cartoon as it was airing on TV. Back then, if you missed an episode, you had to wait like 4 weeks for it to air again. Like, there was none of this searching up on YouTube, finding the clips or finding the episode. If you missed an episode, that was it. Like, you had to wait. On top of that, I was also introduced to Spider-Man with the original Spider-Man PS1 game, and this is like one of the best games of all time. Even to this day, I'm 22 years old, and that is still like a massive nostalgia kick. Like, seeing that game, you can probably get it on PC nowadays, but the game was so dumb. Like, Spider-Man didn't even have fingers, they were just like little stumps, and Black Cat looked awful. Like, she didn't even look like Black Cat. Weird. That game also had the best iteration of Venom you have ever seen in your entire life. He made jokes, it was blue as well, which was really weird.
Where'd Spider-Wars go? Spider-Wars! Come out and play!
But one thing that was really strange that I still have no idea why, he could teleport.
Quiet.
Speaking of crashed, it's showtime, freaks.
It made no sense and it's never been explained, and even to this day, I still don't know why he can teleport, but whatever, like it was the Spider-Man game. But on top of all that, Stan Lee's narration was also in the game.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here. Once again, we find our hero Peter Parker, better known around the world as the Amazing Spider-Man, in a heap of trouble. But this is just the beginning, Spidey fans. So get ready for a true superhero action thriller, packed to the brim with thrills and chills, twists and turns, more supervillains than you can shake a web at, and of course, non-stop web-slinging, wall-crawling action.
My god, he sounded just as energetic then as he did now. Oh man, Stan Lee's died. So when I was 5 years old, my dad came home from work one morning with the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man on videotape, on VHS. Some of you guys probably don't even know what VHS is. It's literally a videotape. That was my first experience with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, and it's so strange looking back because I remember it so clearly. I remember us putting the videotape into the video player, and because the SCART cable wasn't in the back of the TV properly, the video came up as black and white. So my first experience with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie was in black and white for like half of it. But little did we know what that Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie would do for the future of the superhero movies. And I remember watching the Spider-Man 2 trailer on the internet, like the trailer, but what's really weird is that YouTube wasn't invented until 2005, and the Spider-Man 2 trailer came out in like 2003. So I have no idea how I watched the Spider-Man 2 trailer on the computer. What was even out before YouTube? What did we watch videos of? But anyway, that's how I got into Spider-Man, through the cartoons and through the video games and then through the Sam Raimi movie. But how did I actually get into comic books? Well, obviously watching the cartoons, playing the video games and hearing like the comic book references and the comic book mentions and stuff like that, I genuinely thought that comic books were something you either had to order online, or they were really difficult to get hold of, or they were just more of an American thing. One day when I was 15 years old, I was in Manchester, which is like my home city, and I came across a massive comic book store in Manchester. When we went in there, my dad goes, "Yeah, I knew this was here the entire time." Bruh. Now this is where comic books had a huge part in my life. As I was growing up, I collected comic books. I have the entire Ultimate Spider-Man comic book collection, like one by one. I even have the first appearance of the Black Suit in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 252. And I love comics so much that I even based my final university degree off it. But yeah, this is becoming a pretty long video and I never really spoke about it. So yeah, that is pretty much where my true love for Spider-Man and stuff like that came from. Obviously, growing up even further, I played the Spider-Man games, like the original Spider-Man game on the original Xbox. Then Spider-Man 2 released, and we had Ultimate Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man 3. And then we also had like the Amazing Spider-Man games and Spider-Man PS4 that's just released. Now, I never thought in a million years I would get this opportunity, but I met Stan Lee at Comic-Con about 3 years ago, and basically what was going on was Stan Lee was coming to the London Film and Comic-Con, and it was his last ever time visiting the UK. Like, he was never coming back. If there was ever a time I was going to meet him, it had to be this time. And looking back, I'm so thankful that I got the opportunity to meet him, and I got there, and I actually got my Ultimate Spider-Man issue 160 signed, and obviously that's the death of Spider-Man. And also, you see this sticker right here? This sticker cost me £5. So I paid to meet Stan Lee, and then they charged me a £5 for this sticker. But one thing I was really surprised about was Stan Lee, he was actually really frail in real life. Like, I'm talking like his hand was shaking when he was signing my comic, and I kind of felt bad that he was there, honestly. Like, at the time he was like 92 years old maybe, and for someone like him to be 92 years old and fly across the world and spend hours signing comic books, and he had like a team around him that was like helping him and stuff, and I've never met an A-list celebrity, and then I met Stan Lee, and Stan Lee is a legend. Like, in my opinion, Stan Lee is probably the biggest person you can meet on the planet, and I haven't met anyone else, but I've met Stan Lee. See, this is the thing about comic books. You just resonate with them so much, and so that is how much Stan Lee meant to me. Unless you have been on that journey of reading the comic books and sort of knowing like that behind every single character nearly, it was Stan Lee that created them all, that kind of set that path for them. I also want to give a really big shout out to Boss Logic, because he created this awesome poster. It is quite possibly the best poster I've ever seen. Like, if there's anyone that has done a more loving, like, memorable thing for Stan Lee, it's this. Oh my god, like, honestly, I'm getting chills. Everyone's gonna have something different with Stan Lee. Everyone's gonna be able to like appreciate him and his creativity in their own way, whether that's them escaping into those Marvel comics, into a different universe that's better than their own. If someone's going through a bad time, you can always read a comic book and just be transitioned into that character. And please let me know in the comments so we can have a talk about how Stan Lee affected your life, how he impacted your childhood and your lifestyle and how you've grown up. Don't forget, I did that Instagram post on my Instagram sharing my signed comic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just a general comic book reader sit down chat of just pure Marvel appreciation right here, honestly. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below, and if you did like this, then please hit the subscribe button, because it'd be awesome to still talked about comics with you guys and that. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you click this video on the left, you can go to my Spider-Geddon series. I'm getting into the next issue for that later this week, so read this one. And then this one right here is my gameplay for the Spider-Man PS4 DLC. Have a look.